In the last video, we saw how Jinwoo used the holy water of life on his mother, which miraculously worked, allowing her to finally wake up from her long sleep. In a heartfelt reunion with his mother, Jinwoo shared all of his pain through tears and was finally able to lighten his burden. So now, let's see what happens next in the story. Chapter 90 of Solo Leveling starts with Dr. Lee, the chief physician of Seoul Ilshin Hospital, who was astonished by the incredible news. A patient with eternal sleep disease had woken up. However, Dr. Choi mentioned a crucial complication. The patient's guardian was insisting on an immediate discharge despite the unusual circumstances surrounding the case. The patient had been bedridden for over 4 years, and Dr. Lee was adamant that it was far too soon to release her. The long period of immobility should have left her body weak and incapable of supporting itself. But then, Dr. Choi revealed something unexpected. All the patient's tests had come back normal. Remarkably, she is in perfect health and could even walk on her own. The situation was baffling. Dr. Lee was shocked and found it hard to believe that someone who hadn't moved in years could be fully functional and walk on their own. He speculated that the life support machines might have somehow preserved her body's strength, though he couldn't be sure. Dr. Lee insisted that they couldn't just discharge her without further observation. Such a case needed to be reported to the medical community. It was a phenomenon that could provide valuable insights. Dr. Choi said that he tried to reason with the patient's guardian, but it was clear this was no ordinary person. The guardian was none other than Sung Jinwoo, the country's newly recognized S-rank hunter. With his reputation and influence, arguing against his wishes was nearly impossible. Understanding the gravity of the situation, Dr. Lee decided it was best to comply. He instructed Dr. Choi to proceed with the discharge, acknowledging that they couldn't force a healthy patient to stay against her will. The scene shifts to the hospital room, where Gina stands with tears streaming down her face, calling out for their mother. Their mother was surprised to see how much Gina had grown. She had last seen her when she was in middle school, and now Gina was a young teenager. Despite her initial shock, she quickly recovered, welcoming Gina with open arms and a warm smile. Gina ran into her mother's embrace, unable to contain her emotions. Jinwoo watched the reunion in silence with a heavy heart. A deep sense of fulfillment washed over him. Everything he had fought for had led to this moment, but at the same time, a wave of nervousness crept into his mind. As a hunter, he had already crossed the bridge of no return. Jinwoo walked out of the hospital and sat down on a nearby bench, lost in thoughts. He pulled out his phone to check for any pending messages. His screen was flooded with countless missed calls and notifications, far too many to reply individually. After scrolling through them for a bit, he gave up and cleared them, figuring that if anyone really needed to reach him, they would call again. After that, he opened a news site, and what he saw made him frown. Headlines reported a magic beast flying over downtown Seoul, questioning its destination and criticizing the Hunters Association for failing to respond. He was surprised to see it had made the news. While he was still processing this, his phone suddenly rang. Jinwoo answered the call. It was a call from President Go Gun-hee of the Hunters Association. He was caught off guard, wondering why the president would contact him personally. President Go asked if Jinwoo had heard the news, but Jinwoo replied that he hadn't. Jinwoo mistakenly assumes that the call was about Kaisel and apologized, but the confusion in President Go's voice made it clear that they weren't talking about the same thing. The president's tone grew deeper and more serious as he asked if they could meet in person. Jinwoo agreed and said that he himself will come Hunters Association to meet him. Jinwoo arrived at the Hunters Association, where President Go explained their plan to go to Jeju Island and eliminate the ants once and for all. To accomplish this, President Go requested Jinwoo's help with the mission. He mentioned that South Korea had always longed to reclaim Jeju Island, and to achieve that, he asked Jinwoo to fight alongside them. Under normal circumstances, Jinwoo would have eagerly seized the chance to face high-ranking beasts to level up. However, with his mother having just woken from a coma, his thoughts were consumed with concern for her and his sister. As he parted his lips to give his answer, he suddenly sensed immense clashes of mana nearby. The mana clearly belonged to multiple hunters. President Go noticed Jinwoo's sudden hesitation and asked what was wrong. Jinwoo replied that it was nothing serious, but that it seemed some hunters were fighting nearby. President Go chuckled, praising Jinwoo for his sharp awareness. He explained that what Jinwoo had sensed was likely the intense activity of S-rank hunters warming up in the gym in preparation for the Jeju Island raid, which was only 4 days away. The chairman mentioned that even the renowned Japanese hunters, including the legendary Goto Ryuji, the greatest hunter in Japan, were present. President Go then asked Jinwoo if he would like to accompany him to the gym. At the center of the room, shirtless Baek Yoonho was sparring with a massive middle-aged man. With impressive force, the man countered Yoonho's attacks and skillfully slammed him to the ground. He mockingly taunted Yoonho, saying that a young man like him should be stronger than this. Yoonho grinned with excitement, eager to go for another round. The two clashed again with immense force, causing ripples in the air from the impact. Both seemed to be enjoying themselves, relishing the rare opportunity to spar with fellow S-rank hunters. Go Gunhee remarked to Jinwoo that it was rare to see so many S-rank hunters gathered in one place, and that the mana waves Jinwoo had sensed earlier likely came from them. Jinwoo noticed Yoonho struggling to keep up with his opponent. However, someone from behind commented that if Yoonho were to attack with full force, Ma Dongwook wouldn't be able to keep up. Jinwoo turned at the direction of the voice, where he saw none other than Choi Jongin, who approached him and greeted him. Choi Jongin explained that the man in the judogi was Ma Dongwook, the guild master of the Fame Guild, one of the 5 major guilds in South Korea. Jinwoo curiously asked why Yoonho was holding back. Jongin explained that Yoonho didn't like using his full power in front of so many people. When he went all out, he transformed into a real monster, which clarified the rumors Jinwoo had heard about Yoonho's beast transformation. Jongin also mentioned that more hunters had gathered for the raid. That's when we meet the Japanese hunters: Izawa Ippei, Ishida Mari, Tanaka Kenzo, Hoshino Minoru, Kumamoto Atsushi, Tawata Kanai, Fujishima Tatsumi, Kei, Shimizu Akari, and finally the strongest S-rank hunter of Japan, someone closest to receiving the national level title, Goto Ryuji.